Hey guys, Ashley here, also known as the HB fan. I am back. I am back. Back today with another rant video. I know that I've been away. I'm not even going to try to tell y'all yada yada dee, yada yada do. Life is busy, period. But I want to pretty much talk about Al Pacino again. I've been watching, like I said, watching some of his movies, and I told you guys in my 70s ranking that I would be back to rank his 80s and 90s movies. But child, I don't know if keep up with y'all. His 80s movies, honestly, Scarface is his only good 80s movie to me. His only good 80s movie to me. Everything else is just terrible. Everything else is terrible. The only other movie that I can tolerate probably is Sea of Love, but even that is it's whatever. But I'm gonna make a video about his 80s era, about why I just feel like it was just very underwhelming that an actor like him just didn't have a good 80s era. So I'm gonna do that in a separate video, but today I'm gonna rank his 90s movies instead, because there were just better movies that he did do in the 90s than he did in the 80s, in my opinion. So let's get to the list. He did 12 movies in the 90s, so we're going to rank them from worst to best. Some of y'all might not agree with this ranking, some of y'all might. It's whatever. Me personally, I feel like this ranking is what I least enjoyed and what I did enjoy. And actually, hold on, I'm going to take that back, because some of these movies that I did put in, like some of these, when I get to the ranking and y'all might hear a movie that's like higher, I probably only put it there because I was being nice. Like, I probably didn't even enjoy it that much, but it was better than something else on the list. So let's get to it. Coming in number 12 to me as the worst movie he did in the 90s is Godfather 3. Now, I've already made a video about this in the past, why I don't like Godfather 3. I'm super short and sweet right here why I don't like this movie. This movie destroyed. This movie did not have the same aesthetic, the same atmosphere as the first two. Everything about this movie feels like a downgrade from Godfather 1 and 2. Everything. The characters, the writing, the dialogue, all of it. The setting, all of it. It feels so boring and bland. You can tell Francis Coppola didn't really want to do this, and he didn't want to do this. If you watch an interview, listen to an interview with him, he didn't want to do this. He was forced to do this because Paramount wanted another movie. And he didn't want to do this. He wanted nothing to do with Godfather 3. And this movie is just atrocious. His daughter is a big reason why this movie is just so hard to sit through. Like, she's just so bad at acting. I'm sorry, don't mean to be harsh on her, but she's terrible. What else I want to say, because with this movie I can keep going on and on, but if you want to know why I don't like Godfather 3, please check out my movie on why Godfather 3 sucks. But a lot of people like the Godfather 3 Coda, the death of Michael Corleone. The movie is still terrible. Like, I just watched it because I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers say, oh, it's better than the 1990s version. And it's still a terrible film. Like, the bad dialogue is still there. It's still boring and bland. Michael Corleone is just not the same character. He's more trusting. He's more vulnerable. He's more stupid and naive and gullible. Just, he's not Michael Corleone. Al Pacino just seems very bored in this movie. So, I think Godfather 3 is his worst movie in the 90s. Take it how you want to take it. I don't like Godfather 3. Coming in number 11 is City Hall. This movie was just really boring to sit through. It was just really boring. I kept dozing off watching this movie, and I literally was skipping through it because I was just thinking, is this movie gonna get to it or what? So just for that, this movie is going at the bottom tier. It's boring as shit. I don't recommend it. Number 10, Dick Tracy. This movie was just weird, ridiculous. Ridiculous is all I have to say about this movie. I can't, it's ridiculous. Al Pacino, they have him playing a ridiculous character. I think this is based on a comic book, and it was just stupid. Don't recommend it. Coming in number 9 is Any Given Sunday. This movie was whatever. I'm not really into sports as it is anyway, so when you make a movie about sports, it's really hard for me to give a fuck because I'm not really into. I don't watch basketball. I don't watch football. I don't watch any of that. I feel like if this movie had a different plot line, maybe I would care about this movie. Or like, if you want to keep football in there, but maybe give us something else outside of football, I probably would like it. But for this whole movie to just be about strictly football, sorry, no, I can't do it. Can't do it. Sorry, this movie is meh. It's if people who like sports probably will like this. Me personally, since I don't care about sports that much, I don't like this movie. Pacino just plays a very boring coach. He just doesn't seem like he really cares about the movie. He seems like he just did this for cash, which is not bad. I mean, he gotta make his dough. But I just feel like I just wasn't interested in the characters at all, or the storyline for that matter. Okay, coming in at number 8 is Frankie and Johnny. So this is one of those rankings where I'm being nice, even though this still seems very low. I still feel like it's kind of higher than Godfather. I'd be a little nice because honestly, I didn't like this movie either. I love romantic movies with every fiber in my being, but this movie just felt so passionless and so chemistryless. I'm sorry, Al Pacino and Michelle Pfeiffer just have no chemistry. I didn't feel anything with them. I feel like the movie did have a good message about opening up your heart to the right people and dealing with loneliness and you made mistakes and sometimes how hard it is to write a new chapter in your life after you been through something so traumatically. Michelle Pfeiffer, her character Frankie, she's been through a very bad relationship. Her ex-boyfriend was very abusive and she was pregnant and it caused her to lose a baby, and now she's become very distant and cold and she's afraid to be alone, she's afraid to not be alone, she's afraid of love and everything, which is completely understandable for anyone who's been in a traumatic situation of anything of the sort. I feel like the characters are not the problem. Frankie and Johnny are well developed characters because they have their own chapter on what they're looking for. She wants to be open, but it's hard for her to be open because of what she's been through. Johnny is looking for something to close up that loneliness and avoidance in his heart because he was in prison, and because he's in prison, his ex-wife won't let him see his children. So now he just feels like I'm stuck to live with that, so I'm just want to feel something again. The problem with this movie is the relationship. I just don't feel any chemistry between them, and I feel like how the relationship just started was just so weird to me. They kind of was like, playing hard to get with each other and everything like that. She's jealous of the fact that he's seeing prostitutes and that her friend wants to have sex with him. She's jealous about that, and he wants her, and I think he's doing all these things to get under her skin so she'll know how he's feeling about her. I just feel like the moment when they hook up, he's talking about he loves her and he's in love and all this crap. I just feel like this is so weird. Like, if I ever hooked up with a guy and he tells me the very next day that he's presenting his love to me, telling me that he loves me, thinks about me every single day, I honestly would feel like that's a huge red flag. It's a huge red flag. It's just like, we just only hooked up. How can you possibly be in love with me? You don't know anything about me. And he didn't know anything about Frankie. They didn't know anything about each other. He didn't know anything that she's been through to that last hour of the movie. So I thought the relationship was just very rushed, and it just felt like it came out of nowhere. I think what would have just been best if maybe this movie could have been about friendship. If it could have been about friendship, because like I said, I just didn't feel the romantic. I didn't feel any passion. This movie just felt really passionless when it came to them being in a relationship. But them individually as characters, it was really well developed. I didn't have a problem with this movie. The pacing could be very slow, and the movie can be kind of like boring at times. But it's, I don't, to me personally, I feel like this is an opportunity movie that I can like skip over. It's not something that I can ever see myself watching. I could live, like if I was to, God forbid, no, if you were to ask me right now, what movie could I watch for the rest of my life, and you were to ask me, Frankie and Johnny or Lion King, I'm going with Lion King. Any day. Frankie and Johnny, I could live without this film. I could care less about this film. So, let's move on, because I've been learning about this movie for way too long. So let's get into number 7. Number 7 is The Devil's Advocate. This movie, I honestly should have ranked it lower, because this movie is ridiculous. This movie is so dumb. Like, this movie is just so dumb. Like, I felt really, like, not bored. Like, I wasn't bored, but just like, what? Like, I was in WTF the whole time watching this movie. Like, Al Pacino is playing the devil and everything like that. Like, I thought it was just stupid and ridiculous. Like, just ridiculous. I thought it was just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Like, I don't, if you like this movie, okay, but me personally, it's just another Al Pacino movie that I feel like, why? Why did he agree to do this movie? Why? So that's all I have to say with Devil's Advocate. I just think the storyline was very ridiculous. The characters are ridiculous. The storyline is ridiculous. His Al Pacino's character is ridiculous. He's the devil is ridiculous. All of it's ridiculous to me. Coming in at number 6 is The Insider. This movie is tolerable. It's okay. I mean, it's alright. Nothing to really like fuss over. I think I'll take it over Devil's Advocate because the storyline just seems more serious and like and not over the top in a way that's dumb. But this movie is okay. It's alright. Coming number 5 is Glen Ross. This is a movie about these salesmen who need to make this amount of money for their sales, anything like that. This movie, like, it's okay. It's good. It's tolerable. Even though I feel like Al Pacino, his character isn't really focused on enough. And me personally, when it comes to my favorite actors, I kind of hate watching movies when they're not the main character. I hate watching movies when they're not the main character. They just happen to be one of the main characters. Like, I feel like he's just one of the main characters, but he's not the main character. I feel like the main character is Alaric Boltzmann, if that's his name. I feel like his character is heavily focused because he's really in charge of the office. And, like, he's letting them know they need to make this amount of sales and budget. This is a really heavy dialogue type of movie. So I feel like if you're going to watch it, you really should pay attention to what the characters say and what they do, because if you don't, then you won't really understand what's going on. But me personally, I feel like it's a very tolerable movie, even though I just wish Al Pacino was the main character and not one of the main characters. Coming in number 4 is Carlito's Way. Me personally, if I had to really give my opinions on this movie, the first time I watched it, I was really bored. I know. A lot of Al Pacino fans really love this movie. I like it. It's not bad. I can watch it. I can put it on and watch it. It's not a bad movie. It's really a movie about, redemption and trying to do the right thing and just trying to get out and do something different, which there's nothing against. I feel like, I don't think against this movie. I don't think him and the lead that the actress they supposed to be with, I totally forgot her name. I don't think they had any chemistry. Like, I couldn't buy into the relationship, like, for 1 second. Like, I just couldn't buy into the relationship at all. I honestly feel like watching Al Pacino have a love scene at his age that he was, and I know a lot of people say, why does this matter? I think watching him have a love scene at the age of however he was, I think he was like 40 or about to hit 50 years old at this time, it's really weird to me. I want to ask myself, Why did Hollywood wait all this time to get this man to have a love scene? Why? Like, this is when he was already starting to, like, age. Like he was starting to age. Like, I'm going to sound shallow, but like, this is when he was really starting to age. Like, he was starting to look older. Like, older. Like, at least Johnny Depp kept up his look for a good short period of time. Johnny Depp just started looking old until he started drinking too much and doing that heavy cocaine shit. Like, he didn't start looking old until he started doing that. But, like, Johnny Depp in his mid-90s and, like, early 2000s, Johnny Depp was like, he was, like, still 25. Here, Al Pacino, he just looks 50 years old. It's like, I don't want to see him have sex at 50 years old. Like, and I thought he was so beautiful in the 70s and mid-80s era. It's like, that's Al Pacino. I want to see Michael Corleone have a love scene. I want to see Serpico have a love scene. I don't want to see him have a love scene in Carlito's way. So I just thought it was just like, why? But other than that, I liked this movie. I thought it had great aesthetic, and the acting was good, the dialogue was great. The pacing is kind of slow. That's why I thought, like, the first time I watched it, it was really boring. But I did watch it a couple times after that, and, like, the pacing is kind of slow, like I said, kind of slow, but it does pick up. But this is not a bad film. I'll take it over Godfather, because Godfather 3 is so atrocious. So I'm taking over Godfather. So we're getting to the top 3. Coming in number 3 is Donnie Brasco. This movie is perfection. This movie is so good. Even though it's more focused on Johnny Depp's character, I still think Al Pacino did his thing playing Lefty. Like, I just really love this movie. Like, it's so good. Like, I feel like the pacing was kind of slow in the beginning, but I think that was tolerable so we could see Donnie and Lefty's relationship blossom, how Lefty grows to trust him and everything like that, and how Donnie starts to absorb the lifestyle of being in the mafia and how they run their life, how they earn their money and things like that, and how much the more time he spends with them, the more he feels free, and he doesn't have to worry about being a husband. He doesn't have to worry about being a father, because those things become less and less more important to him as he starts to absorb deeper into the mafia. And I absolutely think it is one of the best Johnny Depp and Al Pacino movies I have ever seen. This movie is just really good. I heavily recommend it. The character development is great. You get complex character development, great dialogue. You get to see the downfall of relationships, the corruption of befriending the wrong people. It's just a great movie all around. So, coming in number 2, this was really hard because I really had a toss-up between number 2 and number 1, but I really decided to make my decision, and I don't regret it. So, coming in number 2 is Heat. I absolutely love this fucking movie. This movie is so fucking good, like, for real. For real. I definitely recommend this movie to anybody who wants to watch a good Al Pacino movie. This movie does a great job of showing the law and order of things, and just how I love how the director Michael Mann decides to give both our protagonist and our antagonist a story and give them both character development, and how in some way you can empathize not only with the protagonist but with the antagonist too, on how he feels about things and how he's just so lonely and he ain't got nobody to love, he ain't got nobody to share nothing with. Everything is just so empty. And I absolutely love that. I definitely think Robert De Niro did a great job on playing the character. I can't remember his name, but I know Al Pacino plays Vincent. I cannot remember his name. I can't remember Robert De Niro's character in here. Shame on me. But I definitely think him and the girl that he was seeing, I definitely think they had some chemistry. Even though the relationship wasn't heavily focused on, they had chemistry, which I thought, there's a lot of things that I realized looking back at the movie now that I didn't realize before. And that's how there's so many similarities between their characters and so many differences. Like Al Pacino's character, for instance, he has a family, but his family is falling apart because he's so obsessed with his job. He is letting everything pass him by because he just can't seem to let go of his obsession of his job, getting it done, doing the right thing, just like you said, sharp on the edge where he be at. Like you saw his wife, Joanne, where he needs to be. No, Justine, sorry, her name is Justine. That's a cute name. His marriage is falling apart because he doesn't put his wife or his stepdaughter first. And and then you look at Robert De Niro's character. I forgot. You look at his character with his girlfriend, and they're going strong. Even though she knows what he does, they seem to have a very emotional understanding of each other. And I just think that's just so, like, it's crazy. Like, you would think a guy who doesn't break the law, doesn't have to rob to make money, you would think he would have a better family life because he is doing things the right way. But Michael Mann does a great job at showing the similarities and the differences between them. And their characters aren't so different. And I love the diner scene. I love the robbing scene. I love the ending. This movie is just really good. Like, it has great characters. I think every actor plays the part they need to play. I don't think there's no bad actor in this. The dialogue is great. The dialogue makes sense. The characters talk with some sense. This is definitely a great movie. And coming in at number 1, Scent of a Woman. I know some are going to be like, how can you choose movie over Heat? This movie really blew me away. Al Pacino finally earned his Oscar well-deserved performance in this, even though he should have won one when he played Napoleon, when he played Reciprocal, when he played Sonny Kravitz in Saturday Afternoon. He already deserved so many other Oscars for his other performances. I would even say Lefty. There's some other performances that he deserved the Oscar for. Lefty, Carlito's Way, Donnie Brasco. There's so many other movies that he deserved the Oscar for. Not just like the obvious movies, but there's so many other movies I feel like he deserved the Oscar for. For me personally, I don't know how he didn't win one for Godfather, because like for him to be that young and to be very inexperienced with cinema and to pretty much carry a franchise on his back and to become the popular character out of the franchise, it's like, how the hell did he not win an Oscar for that? It's ridiculous. But I absolutely love Scent of a Woman. Hoo-ha! I absolutely love Scent of a Woman. Al Pacino did a great job playing Frank in here. This movie is so good. It's so emotional. It tugs at your heartstrings. It's a really good fucking movie. He played a blind man. He didn't blink once in this movie, and he was very convincing at being a blind person. I absolutely love the dynamic between him and Charlie. I absolutely love the dynamic. I love it. I remember when I first watched this movie, I remember thinking, the title is called A Scent of a Woman. And I'm thinking like, so why didn't the director have a woman be his aide? Why did he have a man? And then I started thinking, maybe if it was a woman, maybe they would have tried to do some type of love relationship, which I don't have nothing against that, but I don't think Frank, watching the movie, I don't think Frank needed a relationship. I think what he needed was a friend. I think he needed somebody who he can be vulnerable to, because I don't think he was able to be vulnerable with nobody else, not his family, not with his niece. I think he really needed to let the scene, my favorite scene in the entire movie is What Life. I'm no Al Pacino. I can't scream and convey the nuance that he had in that scene with Charlie, when Charlie tried to stop him from killing himself, and Charlie's telling him, you're just in a slump, you're in pain, and just get on with your life. And he talks about, what life? I have no life. I'm in the dark here. Don't you understand? I'm in the dark. I felt that. I felt that. Because he can't see. And it's like, oh my God, like that scene, I absolutely love that scene when he said I'm in the dark. He hates being blind. He hates how being blind made him a bitter asshole. Like at first, when the movie first came on, I'm thinking like he's such an asshole and everything like that. Like, but once you get more into his character and you realize that his family pretty much don't want nothing to do with him. His brother, his nephew, they all hate him. And Charlie seems to be the only person who really doesn't give up on him. And I really love the relationship. I definitely think, I don't remember the actor's name who played Charlie. I definitely think he did his job on playing Charlie. Charlie was so patient and vulnerable, and he had so much integrity and kind of naive at times. He kind of was a little bit of, he didn't have a backbone, a little bit of a yellow belly. He didn't have a backbone. I think being around Frank really made him more tough and made him see things a little differently about people and everything like that. And I think Frank being around Charlie made him more patient and understanding and more vulnerable. So this movie is just really good. To me personally, I think out of his 90 movies that I watched, this was his best one. I'm sorry. Pacino just did his big one in this. I feel like every scene in this movie is so good. Every scene. From big scene to little scene, it don't matter. Just seeing him and Charlie's relationship gradually change, start to grow slowly in the film during the 2-hour runtime is just great. The courtroom scene. The Thanksgiving scene with his family. Everything. The scene when he first meets Charlie. The tango scene. It just... Al Pacino was really the show stealer in here, and I'm really happy that he finally won his goddamn Oscar that he should have already won in the mid-70s. But I know he won other awards and everything like that, but I feel like, even though he did a great job in Civil Woman, I feel this Oscar should have been already given to him a long time ago. But anyway, that was my ranking for Al Pacino's 90s films. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And look out for another video about me talking about his 80s era. I want to try to get that video very short and sweet. But I do have a video coming on about The Godfather. I know I said I was going to talk about Michael Corleone and why I like Godfather 2. I think I'm just going to make it into a whole video. I think I'm just going to talk about all of it at once because talking about it separately is going to just be too much because I really don't have the time. I mean, look how long it took me to make this video. I really don't have the time, so I think I'm just going to talk about all of it in one big video. So anyway, love life, love yourself, get through the day, pray for God, pray at night, and you guys take care, and I love you guys.